Hi, well, we're back at the hammam today, mainly because a couple people asked me some questions and I didn't think I did a very good job on the first video discussing just giving you a little bit more detail. Um, well, like everything, there's a story behind this too, and there's several of these dotted throughout the village. But how do you build a dome and why a dome? Well, a dome's sort of like an arch, and if you know how arch works, you build the arch up and you stick the keystone in, and the law of physics kicks in, and it's a series of counter pressures that leave it standing up. And the same thing really with a dome, because the dome is really just a series of circular arches. And what they do is they build it up and then they put temporary structures in place until they can lock the keystones in, and then they remove the temporary structures and it becomes self-supporting. It's really just sort of a wonder of physics. And with domes, the pressures both push down and then out. Now, you can see this structure in its day was massive. You can see the opus insertum, the sort of inserting of the stones here, and then on the exterior, very heavy stones to support the weight. Obviously after years and years, this thing sort of collapsed. So now you can see they've got steel braces that are holding it around in order to hold it up. Now, I guess the second question is, why would you bother with a dome? Because, I mean, if you're an Ottoman, and this is sort of ancient Corinth was sort of a backwater of the Ottoman Empire. Well, there's a few reasons. Number one, you just like them because they remind you of home. We like our kind of architecture. Secondly, though, it reminds all the local inhabitants that this is an Ottoman village. So all the architecture would have resembled stuff that you could find in Istanbul. Now, they're not as elaborate as you could find in Istanbul, but it's still there. And thirdly, it's vaguely reminiscent of a mosque. And to the Turks, the Ottoman Turks at that time, bathing was sort of almost took on a religious connotation, almost like in Islam today. You ritually wash yourself before you attend mosque or even pray on your own in your own home. So for those three main reasons, this is why they bothered to build a dome. Now you can see that it's not that exquisite, but it's still a dome nonetheless. Now I'm going to show you inside. I'm not going to go inside because it's pretty dilapidated, but maybe you can see. If you look around, I'm going to turn this a bit. You look around, this is the inside of the hammam. This would have been a meeting area and a place where people would have gathered to discuss business. This would only be for the men, but you can see straight ahead of you the outlines, the curvatures of the vaulted ceiling ending in a dome, which would look this structure you would find in the Hagia Sophia if you went to Istanbul. So I hope, Renee, I answered your questions on that. I think I wrote to you yesterday, but here we are back at the hammam. Like I said, there's several all through the village here. I'm lucky to get to this one because that house behind me belongs to Dina, and she's with the archaeology. She's allowed us to go in here, and she's preserved it pretty well.